Hi, it's Donna Guest, the Lazy Scrapbooker, and welcome to this month's edition of the Savvy Scrapbookers. That's where me, Debbie Martin, and Nicole divide up one pack of paper and one pack of stickers and make 6 pages for you. This month, we're taking on the Creative Memories collection, Grateful Harvest. I'm so excited to work with Grateful Harvest. It is a gorgeous collection, but I didn't have any fall photos, or so I thought. So I went to my closet where I keep my stash, and I found this old file mate from Creative Memories from, as you can see, 2012. And inside, all my memorabilia and printed photos from 2012 that I did 13 years ago. So I looked through October, nothing. Looked through November, nothing. And then I went to December because it's technically still autumn. And I found all of these. We did a photo shoot in the backyard of my little 7-year-old at the time for our Christmas card. And I've got 2 pages worth of photos here to scrapbook. That file mate was a lifesaver. The most current version we have was this, and I still have a few on my online store. I'll put the link in the description of this video. Also, you can still get one from Creative Memories that's the same thing, but it's for school days, and it has school books and an apple on it, and it is so cute. These are great for doing memorabilia and photos because they're photo safe. If you're just storing photos, then the Creative Memories Power Sort Box is the way to go. Let's get started. Here are the decorative items we'll be using. I got super lucky with the photos I found because it matches perfectly. We've got these 4 sheets of paper that we're going to use. The brown, the gorgeous leaves, it's yellow, and then the wheat. Then for stickers, I've got this set of border stickers that go vertically, the wreaths, I've got the fall, some more leaves, and then this title that says Fabulous Fall. Of course, you can make this work with any combination of stickers. Here are the tools we'll need to complete these 2 pages. Of course, our 12-inch trimmer and repositionable tape. You might want to also have this guy on your table, which is the multi-tool. And I'll be using my photo trimmer to trim down my photos here and there. You may want to do the same. Here's some optional items you may wish to use if you like your stickers to have a little bit of height and shadow. And that's, of course, our foam squares and the anti-stick powder tool. So here are our 4 sheets, and I'm going to use this wheat and this yellow leaf paper as our backgrounds. I'll set those aside, and we're going to cut these 2 beautiful pieces of paper up. And this is so simple. You're going to love these cuts. Let's extend our ruler out because we're going to do 6 by 6 inch squares. So I'm going to line this up, and you want to make sure you get it exactly right, as close as possible, because if we're off quite a bit, it's going to make a difference on your page, covering the rest of the area. So there is always some room for human error. And that's what the multi-tool is for. And we'll cut this last one. Now let's repeat for this sheet. For this one though, for the leaves, we're going to cut at 6 inches. And then do that cut one more time to have 2 squares. And this one we'll have available for photo mats. I'm actually going to use some of this blue because it really ties into my photos, and we can also use this as a photo mat on top of the brown. So I'm going to leave this one intact because you want to make sure you make it work for your photos, because this is a layout that you can use with any number and any size photos. Now we're going to use our repositionable tape runner, and we're going to attach these squares. So you'll want to place it in a pattern that you like, or you can do exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to use the other side of one of these. I love this pattern, and it really matches with everything. In fact, the only thing I've got that is totally different is this blue, which I get is completely different, but when I look at my photos, I really think it makes it stand out, so I'll keep it. All right, so what we've got going here, we have 4 squares right here using this base as one of the squares. And then we have 2 squares here, and here's our base paper over here that we'll do a vertical border section with. So now we're going to use this, and I'm going to attach all of these. And this is where it's going to be important for me to have cut it correctly so that I don't have my squares too short, and I've got some of this peeping through, just the smallest amount, and it just kind of loses a little bit. So I recommend getting your head right over this. I'm standing to do this so that I can make sure I get it just right. You don't want to go too far over the edge of the paper. You want it to be exactly right. I'm actually pretty happy with this. Well, I see a little bit popping through there, so here's what I'll do. This is where the multi-tool is so great and why I love Repositionable, because it does allow you to reposition that and get it just right. And now I'll put this last square down. And that's my 4th square. Okay, now we'll do these. And you'll notice I don't do an excessive amount of tape runner, especially if I know I might be moving it in a minute, but I just do 5 little pieces there. Very good. I love any layout that gets to show off a lot of different paper designs. Now I'm going to put the stickers kind of in the area where I think they're going to be. And these right here, I'm going to go ahead and tack those down. And fall we'll use up there, these leaves probably at the bottom. So let's go ahead and put these down, and that way I will be able to center the photos in the middle. Usually you put down stickers last, but you know, if they're part of the design like these are, and I'm overlapping the squares just a tiny bit, not to take away any of their size, but just to have a nice clean edge there. Now it's certainly a little bit more of a challenge over here. I won't be able to do that because it's right at the edge. I could do like that and have some yellow deliberately showing on the other side, but I'll just put it right up to the edge here. You can do whichever one you like. Now with these pieces, we can cut our photo mats. And I'm going to use this one, and I like a narrow mat, so I'm going to cut this 6x6 square at 4 1/4. This is extra, and then that's going to be a photo mat right there. Now my photos are 4x6, so I am going to have to cut that down a little bit. And I know that's the vertical photo I want to put there. So let's go ahead and trim this. We want this to be, since that's 6 inches tall, 5 3/4. And I've got plenty that I can trim off right there. It's wonderful to pull out photos 13 years later and have the date on the back with a photo labeling pencil. I'm not attaching that yet, just kind of want to play around with it. Now I've got 8 more photos, and I don't know how many photos you're going to have, but this is a nice little canvas that you can use for any number or any size photos. So I'm going to trim a lot of these down because if you see, they're very repetitive. They're just in our backyard at the time, and they all kind of look exactly the same. So the leaves are beautiful, but I want to trim them up to at least be 4x4s, maybe a little smaller, and just let the focus be on him. And the leaves and the tree will still be there. So I'm going to go ahead and trim my photos and see what we're working with. They're not attached yet, but here's what I'm thinking with my photos. And I think I may just use a peekaboo pocket for these 3 and leave them as a full 4x6 for that. The other option is to leave 1 here, trim 1 down for down here, and have 3 over here. So I'm still undecided. There's all kinds of options here. While thinking about that, I'm going to trim these photo mats. I'm going to get 3 photo mats out of this 6x12 paper just by cutting them at 4 inches, which will mean I just need to trim 1/4 inch off the height of my 4-inch photos to get a nice little mat. And there's plenty of room to do that. So for this one, for example, obviously I'll need to trim just a little bit off, which I can do up here at the top. So I'll turn that into a 3 3/4. And then I'll just trim that off. I decided on a peekaboo pocket, so I've got those loaded in here and ready to go. Now I'm just going to attach my photos and these stickers. I'm going to attach this sticker right here, but I want it to stick up a little bit. Now this is something that you can do to all the stickers if you want to, but as a lazy scrapbooker, I just can't be bothered with that. But I do love the effect it has. This is that anti-stick powder tool that if you just shake it and rub it on the back of your sticker, it takes away all the stickiness. Why is that important? Well, I'm going to put it on with foam squares, just like it's an embellishment. So it basically turns a sticker into an embellishment. Now, why is that necessary? You could just put the foam squares right on the sticky part. Well, this keeps you from having what they call sticker collapse, which is such a thing where if, you know, you hit the page just right, the ends are going to fall down and it's just not going to keep its shape. So I'm going to grab some foam squares and pop this up a bit. And I just used the backing of the sticker to put the powder on, so I'm going to throw that away. And so then I can pop this up right here and it gives it just a little bit of shadow. I could have done that with these fall letters. It would have looked really great, but again, I just want to keep it simple. But you may want to try it with those fall letters because it looks fantastic. I'm going to bring out my retired tab punch, and we can't get these anymore, but I'm going to punch a tab out of some of my leftover paper that I can attach to my peekaboo pocket. I usually don't hold my punch upside down, but look at that. I had to make sure I got that right, and I did. So now I'll just fold this over and put repositionable tape runner on it and attach it right there. Now, if you don't have this punch, there are some alternatives. We do have white memory tabs still available, and they are wonderful. You can decorate them with the dot tip pins if you like, and they're great fun to use. So I'm putting my date down here, and the date of these photos was 12/9/12. So I can center this on the 9, and if there were ever a use for the Creative Memory Zero Centering Ruler, this is it. I know I didn't tell you you needed that, but I figure this is going to help me center my date perfectly because I know the 9's in the middle, and I'm going to put it right there with a 0 right here. And I can see that it goes out to 2.5 here and 2.5 here at the edge of those stickers. I use the inside of the 9's and the 8's to put little dots between the months and the days and the years. And done. And I love how this layout turned out. The cuts were so easy with these 6x6 squares, and it works for so many arrangements of photos. I was able to mount 4 photos with the leftover paper. I made the choice to not center these vertically because I love this paper right here so much. I wanted to show as much of it as possible. And then I just made this one even over here, which gave me room for the stickers and the date. And because I put my fall letters a little bit crooked, I put these photos to complement them here. And you know what? When you put your photos crooked, it's never wrong. And we've got a special photo here. And then of course, this will be the peekaboo pocket. I could have gotten all 9 photos on the page, but it may have been a little bit crowded and I was going to have to cut them down a little too much. So I'm happy using the peekaboo pocket. And if you've never used these, I will of course attach this to the page protector once I put it on. Or if you use pocket pages, the slide in top loading pocket pages, you attach it to the outside of that. You do not attach it directly to the paper or the album page. Okay, I hope you have so much fun doing this fast and easy layout. Next, go over to Debbie and Nicole's videos. You'll find the links to their videos in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.